Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Grumpy Gardener Show. Yes, we have more medicine to talk about today. Recently, I apparently overworked my right hand thumb at the joint right here with the palm. It may have been a ligament muscular thing. It could be a joint issue, arthritis. This whole thumb has been doing a lot of picking for years, Yeah, that's on guitars and such. So, well, whatever it was, didn't matter. I fell asleep a bit early that evening with the thumb aching slightly, but I woke up about an hour and a half later, and oh boy, did my thumb hurt. Yeah, it was really paining me. It woke me up. So, well, heck with this. I got up, very late, 10:30 or something like that, and said, well, maybe I'll just kind of sit here and turned on my laptop and dialed in YouTube and started watching and listening to Tenari, one of my favorite bands that rode in out of the sands of the Sahara. Good stuff. If you're not familiar with Saharan blues, check them out. Anyway, so listening to it, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, what am I going to do about my thumb? What am I going to do about my thumb? Well, I started thinking, in the past I've talked when I'm demonstrating how to make canna butter, that in the process of working with the stuff, squeezing it out and that yes, the canna butter has always alleviated stiffness in my joints and my hands and so on. It's effective. I suspect the use of cannabis in ointments probably goes back into the mist of time, most likely. There is even evidence amongst scholars who study ancient languages who believe that the anointing oil in the temples in Jerusalem, that our translation today indicates that one of the ingredients was calamus, which is not a very oily and a swamp-growing plant, and not nearly native to Israel. That translation had been messed up somewhere along the line, and the word was actually meant to be cannabis. And that makes a lot more sense. That's a plant that would grow in ancient Israel, and it is oily. And it is effective, too. As I've said, it'll work on the arthritis in your hand joints. It's a good ingredient in any anointing oil or ointment. Well, anyway, I have historically found, though, that in the oil of butter, it's kind of messy, makes you smell like a dairy product, and butter just doesn't seem to absorb into the skin and go away. Yeah. So I'm sitting there thinking, well, I've been using Delta 8 THC hash oil. Here, this stuff, it's like tar. It will not run out of a bottle. You have to pry it out of here. It is nationally legal because it's derived from industrial hemp, just like CBD. Okay. Although some localities, municipalities have gotten shaky about it, I guess the best thing to say. They continue horticultural fascism locally because you can get intoxicated on it too. Yeah, it will do that, just like the regular Delta 9 THC. I've discussed this in the past, which is from drug hemp. Yeah. So it is a drug potent hash oil, but it's cheap. Oh yeah, I don't know about everywhere, but the state of Ohio, the guys were producing a lot of it over there, and all of a sudden they legalized recreational cannabis, and so the price of this stuff dropped to next to nothing. A jar like that be $30 an ounce or so if you get it from the right sources. That goes a long way, and since I advocate the use of natural herbs and home remedies for our illnesses, as opposed to expensive pharmaceuticals that may not work properly anyway. Okay, yeah, well, and so this is a good thing, because, you know, America's got a problem with pain. We would not have a problem with opiate addiction in the country if we didn't have a problem with pain, initially at least. The pain problem becomes an addiction problem. Anyhow, this product, in the past, I have taken it and I have diluted it with extra virgin cold pressed olive oil under heat. If I take a bottle about this size, add somewhere between maybe a half to a quarter teaspoon. I'm not really good at measuring this stuff. It's hard to work with. But, you know, a small amount of it into a bottle like this, and pretty much fill it up with extra virgin olive oil, put it in the microwave, and heat it until you can clearly see that the Delta 8 has dissolved into the olive oil. The olive oil will then thicken, you know. Well, okay, so this is a product that I've been using in the past as a sleep aid. At the right dosage, it works fine for a sleep aid. But I have also been using it in the past as a blood pressure regulator, and it really works well for that one. If your problem is your vessels do not expand and contract rapidly, if they're stiff, this stuff will fix it. Wild, huh? Anyway, so I'm sitting there thinking, listening to Tanaiwan, and said, you know, I've never tried rubbing that olive oil with Delta 8 on my sore joints. So I did. And it took a little while. I may have put maybe 2 applications on last night. And as I rubbed it in, well, I realized a couple of things. One, olive oil is a superior carrier in an ointment to butter because it seems to soak into my skin. Yeah, as I rubbed the olive oil, it kind of like disappeared. The butter stays there forever and totally greasy. You can't get it off unless you wash it. This disappeared, at least in combination with that hash oil it did. And as it dried into the skin, I could also feel the plastic, or it's almost like glue sort of feeling, like it glued to my skin. The Delta 8 did. And I said, oh, that's neat. Okay, so it dried and there it stuck. Then tried another application about 5 minutes later of the same. And wow. The pain began to dissipate. I went back to bed. I woke up this morning and my thumb is almost good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Well, compared to what woke me up last night, the stuff worked. Okay, really did the job. Now, here's how I applied it. I just drew it out from the bottle into a disposable syringe like this without a needle. Just went ahead and scoop some of it around the affected area. Whoa! A little too much. Yeah. And then just began to rub it in. No, it doesn't smell too bad. It smells a little olive oily. That's about it. Yeah, there isn't a whole lot of aroma to it otherwise. So, you know, compared to some liniments and things that a person might use topically like this, this stuff doesn't have a whole lot of smell. And if you begin to rub it long enough, there we go, the greasiness of the oil actually begins to disappear into the skin, so that I'm not all greasy and oily, so I'm not all messy. Yeah, and it actually works. Works better than so many things that I have actually tried. And of course, topical painkillers are always going to be a better idea than the ones that we put inside our system, because those are going to be very random depending on what the effect is from them. Yet the topical ones really are going to mostly affect exactly where we put this. Gracie is meowing at the door. You want to come in, Gracie? Alrighty, folks. Aloha. Shop around. You will find different prices on different sources for this Delta 8 product, but by national law, this is a legal industrial hemp product. No matter what your local municipalities may think about it, the laws have become very patchwork on this material. Here in Hawaii, it's legal, although there are administrative rules that sometimes make it very difficult to ship it and things yet too. Okay. Y'all hang loose, and oh boy, my thumb is really feeling good.